ripping this thing? Okie dokie. Cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final candidate forum here at the SHU. This got us through most of the candidates that are running for Rochester Mayor. We have Joe Powers and Benjamin Zastrow up here today. It's going to kind of run similar to the previous ones where 7.5 minutes of kind of an intro and then maybe about half an hour of some questions based off of how you guys go back and forth on that. I think I'm going to give you about 2 minutes each per question. You don't have to use the full time. If you hear the alarm going off, that is my non-passive. That's my aggressive way of saying you got to stop talking. We'll do that for about half an hour. The end is just kind of closing comments, and that's about it. So we'll try to wrap this up in like an hour. And then there is a game of horse.
I was told pig.
Oh, pig. Oh.
We can do horse.
We can do horse. You got to think of a couple more shots that you got to take.
I
Some
was going to
tricky
say,
ones.
yeah.
You got 3 queued up. I like it.
We're worried about even hitting the rim.
Well, nothing is regulation here at the basketball court at the SHU. Inside, we're up to snuff in case the city's watching.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're going to start out with the 7.5 minutes of basically your background, why you would like to be the Rochester Mayor, maybe anything else that you think might be fun for people here and on YouTube to know, maybe about yourself, your history, your passions of service or anything of that nature. Joe, I'm going to have you go ahead and start with this if you're ready for that.
I'm ready.
All right, 7.5 minutes on the clock. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a fourth-generation Powers from Rochester. My great-grandfather came here from Ireland and settled here in the 1800s. So our family has been in Rochester. Most of us have lived in southeast Rochester most of our life. I grew up in the Homestead Edition, which was like really a cool area. It's courts surrounded. It's Berkman, Duran, Damon. It was a development co-started with Mayo and a builder. They're great homes. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers, so there were 7 of us living in a 3-bedroom home with 2 baths. But it was just a great neighborhood. Tons of kids, like just thousands of kids in that area. I went to homeschool. Homeschool now is the Boys and Girls Club. So that was my school. And then went to Central. Central was in downtown Rochester. I think I was there maybe 2 years after they ripped the whole thing down. It was a complete dump. Just to tell you how old it is and how crazy it was, we used to swim at gym time naked. And obviously the men were with the men and the girls were with the girls, which was deplorable for somebody that's in junior high. And then I graduated from Mayo High School. I always worked. I constantly worked. It's something that I think I excel at. I've never been fond of school. I'm dyslexic. I'm not a little dyslexic. I'm extremely dyslexic. I was tutored for 7 years, and it was life-changing for me. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for that tutoring. And ironically, it's hereditary. I have 4 grandchildren in it right now. I had 2 children also that went through it. The reading center here in town is life-saving. But I accelerated at working. When I was young, I had a paper route. I had accounts for shoveling, and I had accounts for mowing lawns. I made money to see how much I could save. I was not a spender, but it was great days. But I was busy all the time. And then I went to work at 15 at the Holiday Inn South, which is no longer here, but it was a cranking place back in the day, and I was a dishwasher. About a year into it or so, I don't even think I was 16 yet, the chef walked over and asked me if I wanted to work in the salad area. I said, yes, I would do anything to get the hell out of that dish room. So I left there and started working in the salad area and then just basically worked my way all the way up the line, which basically you go from salad to grill. And then I went to the fryer and then the broiler. My senior year, I was actually running the kitchen when I was on. And we did everything from steak, lobster, all kinds of different seafood, chops, duck, and it was a lot of things. But this restaurant was very, very busy, did a great business. We also did banquets, so that's where I kind of learned the banquet part. But then at the age of 21, I really wanted to own my own restaurant. Gus Shafolius was my mentor. How did I get Gus as a mentor? Just walked into his office one day, said, would you ever mentor me? And he said, sure. And that started the whole thing. I consider him to be the greatest entrepreneur ever from this community. He's a Greek immigrant, came here. In fact, when his father came here, he could speak zero English. And his father ended up buying pieces of Broadway over time. And he went from being a dishwasher and working in the restaurant business. So I had Gus as a mentor, and I went to see Gus, and he said he's ready to have a restaurant. Believe it or not, I had no money, but the bank borrowed me $20,000 to start my restaurant, and which is unheard of in this day and age. And then my parents borrowed me $15,000. So I started the Honker. We did $160,000 the first year. It now does over $5 million, and that started the whole thing. And a lot of good fortunes happened along the way, but we don't have enough time to talk about them on why it got to the point where it continued to grow. But I moved down to the end of the block. Now I got a loan for $1.5 million to build the present Honker building and buy the land there. The rest is kind of history. We're 42 years in business. We had growth every single year except COVID, and of course, road construction. So other than that, it's been great. I worked at another place I forgot about, Le Bistro, which was a French cafe. That's when my cooking really started getting good. And I always worked in the kitchen, and then eventually, over time, I moved out front. The next piece of the puzzle was the event center, which was really kind of a crapshoot, but they really needed event space. But that was our next move that we purchased or built the event center and did that. We always catered. I did catering literally 3 months into it. JM hockey team was my first one, and everybody kept coming up to me raving, so I went into it. How am I doing on time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. So after that, so we started Pinnacle Catering, which is on 2nd Street. We also have the Hubble House and the Mayo at Stone Barn. I'm a huge Mayo historian. I love their history and everything. I think Will and Charlie were brilliant. But I have Charlie's Farm, and that's probably one of the biggest cherished businesses I have. I belonged to St. Francis since day one. My grandfather was one of the original people that started St. Francis. I'm actually the trustee of St. Francis, still go there, was there this morning. And then been involved in a tremendous amount of nonprofits. Right now, I'm on the Rochester Sports Foundation board, TK Basketball, which is for underprivileged kids. We pay for everything. There's about 10 business people, and we pay for everything, so these kids don't have to pay at all. And then I'm on a few other boards, but we'll go from there. But no, I love the community, and if elected, I look forward to being the mayor of this community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. That's a great background. Benjamin, same question. You want me to tee it up, or you got something
No,
queued?
it's just 7.5 minutes.
7.5 minutes
of me. All right.
of
Well,
you.
everybody, thank you for being here. I'm Benjamin Zastrow, candidate for mayor, and I am a husband, a father of 4 wonderful kids, 13, 15, 17, and 19. I'm a small business owner, have been for roughly 20 years. I love having ideas that nobody else has and trying to make them a reality. So going back, the first business I started was in the audio world. So getting to talk audio a little bit is fun. One of the things that I got into then was audiobooks. So if you've ever listened to an audiobook from audible.com, there are people behind the scenes, maybe not anymore with AI, but back when I was doing it, sitting on Pro Tools, slicing and dicing and editing and cleaning all of that up. It's very time-consuming, elaborate work. So I did stuff like that for a number of years, as well as other music and audio production. At the same time, my amazing wife, Laura, had started a photography business, and she got a camera, I think probably from Craigslist or something along those lines. And just started slinging photos, and she was really good at it. So her business started taking off. And with a bunch of little ones and 2 businesses, we kind of decided, where do we go from here? Hers really seemed promising. I was exhausted from doing some of the edits, and it wasn't scaling the way I wanted. So it was a great experience, but we decided maybe it's time to sell the studio gear and go all in on photos. And that was the best decision we made. From there, we became award-winning photographers, traveling nationally and internationally, largely in the wedding industry, but we also had some editorial work and other types of photography as well. Very fulfilling, very exciting, but also very demanding. Sometimes people go, oh, I can take a picture. It's very different when you're on a 10 or 12-hour wedding day with 400 people and you're running everywhere and you have cameras and lenses. You won't believe how sore your body gets. So fantastic work. We did that for a while. The COVID pandemic hit. Weddings came to a halt for like 2 years. So we diversified. Branched out as Zastrow and Zastrow, started doing business-to-business work. So we do creative photography services as well as just creative services in general, so social media, sometimes other creative or marketing consulting, and that's been great. From there, that work, it's always scratched some of the itches I had, but I have more. I want to be involved in the community, and I want to create things that outlast me. So it's great to do that with photos, but getting involved in the neighborhood, so specifically the Lower Town neighborhood here, there were a lot of challenges. This was an incredibly challenged neighborhood. I think it was probably Rochester's most challenged neighborhood, especially during the pandemic. We had a post-pandemic recovery, 2 rounds of North Broadway reconstruction, and just tons and tons of development pressure. We have about 110 small businesses here. So my concern was having North Broadway boarded up and having, this key section of the city essentially go under. So we worked incredibly hard to attract businesses, to retain businesses, and to bring kind of creative energy that spawned places like the Shoe. This is exactly the vision that I had as neighborhood association president, is that we would find and attract brilliant creative entrepreneurs to come and bring their vision here and show Rochester something it hasn't seen yet. And so we're seeing that unfold, including all the way down at the strip mall there with a laundromat now operating on solar. That was thanks to myself and our association vice president reaching out to DMC and Deed through DMC requesting that the 3rd round of Main Street grant funding include the entire neighborhood, because much of that used to stop at the tracks down there at Civic Center. And with so many businesses reeling from the pandemic and 2 rounds of construction, they were coming to me all the time saying, hey, we're left out, and we really could use access to those funds. So being able to deliver on that also kind of scratches that creative itch I have to make something fun and exciting, but also practical and something that will hopefully outlive me. Now, in all of that work, slowly people started saying, hey, you're really good at this. You seem to understand the community. Have you ever considered running for office? I'd love to see you as a council member, or, some people floated running for state. I actually interviewed about running for CD1 for Congress, decided that's definitely not what I want to do with my life. And decided local politics is much more interesting, and I feel like it's where my personality fits. So from there, I started looking at what does it take to get to that point. Well, local boards and commissions are a great on-ramp where you can learn in a lower pressure environment. So for the past 3 years now, I have been a commissioner with the City of Rochester on the Heritage Preservation Commission. We handle all the landmarking. So other cities, people ask, Heritage Preservation, what's that? A lot of big cities call that the Landmarks Commission. In Minnesota here, the way it's legislated, it's the Heritage Preservation Commissions that each city has. So if you love our landmarks, our Downtown Commercial Historic District, the Pill Hill Historic District, that's the work that we do. So that also gave me some insight. Twice a month as chair, I meet with the deputy city attorney. I meet multiple times a month and in regular communication with our staff liaison. I also work with other commissioners. I'm very proud to sit up there with very successful attorneys in the community, programmers, data analysts, small business owners. It's really great to meet people who care and are getting involved in local government at those early levels. So all of that has really given me some insight and skills into what makes our community work and what makes it work well. On top of that, I want it to be fun. I keep hearing from people, hey, we had a family here, raised our kids, and they moved away because there's just nothing that really draws them in. They wanted to go to a bigger city. They wanted more opportunity. They wanted something more exciting. I feel like along this journey, I've learned so much of what Rochester likes, what it wants, what makes it tick, and how to make it come together successfully. So that's what ultimately has taken me to this point of running for mayor. I'm ready to do that on a citywide scale and give us all something that we just love and are proud of. Thank you.
Right on. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Both under your time limit. Look at this. Efficient, concise candidates.
Efficiency is crucial.
And it's a beautiful day.
Yeah. You got to get out there playing some basketball.
Can't wait.
All right, we've done this for every one of them. We're a beverage bar, right? So the next question is just kind of a fun, personal one. What's your favorite beverage or beverage you've been drinking? Maybe your favorite one for the summer here. And then maybe some songs or music you've been really enjoying lately. And I don't know that we necessarily need 2 minutes on this one, so I'm just going to not even start a timer, and you do you and pass it off when you're ready to pass it off. We'll just bounce back and forth. So Benjamin, you can start with this one.
Sure. I'm a water person. Everybody stay hydrated. So water all day long is usually my go-to. However, every morning, and my father was a carpenter, so he would wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and he would work so hard. So every morning he would start with a black cup of coffee. And when I was 8, I wanted to be like Dad. So I also tried to start my day. Whenever he would leave for work and there'd be a little left in the pot, I would pour a little because I'm like, I'm going to be cool like Dad. So to this day, I still love starting my day with just a black cup of coffee. Otherwise, if it's the evening and I'm having a good beverage, I love a good beer. Pretty plain and simple, though. Nice ale, a nice lager. I don't need anything too crazy. I don't need like a raspberry lemonade, pale ale or whatever. Just something pretty straightforward. As far as music, I have pretty eclectic tastes. I did work professionally in the hip-hop industry for a while, so as part of that audio production, I did a lot of that. So a lot of the classic kind of, they called it backpack rap, so kind of conscious, intellectual hip-hop. That was kind of my jam. But I also love classical music. I love oldies. I'll throw on Motown, just about anything.
Perfect. I like it. Joe, same question.
Well, for beverage, love my coffee. I do drink a lot of water, and I drink a product called Spark. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. Advocare product. Put a little Rehydrate in that. Like to do that before workout and after workout. But otherwise, I'll hit the coffee. I am a caffeine freak. I need to kind of watch myself even on it, and I got to know when to cut myself off. My indulgence at nighttime, instead of going to the ice cream box, is a diet root beer, preferably A&W or 1919. Those are my go-tos. As far as adult beverage, I'm a Tito's guy. So I would have Tito's. I don't mind beer, but I don't drink as much as I used to. Just trying to hold that belly down a little bit. And I can do like a Tito's water, Tito's soda with lime, something like that. Artist, I'm all over the place. I'm a huge Van Morrison fan. I've seen him in concert several times. He's not the greatest in concert, just so you know. But he sounds great. He doesn't talk. He doesn't address. He doesn't do anything. So he's not going to rile you up. And I also like country. I really got into country. My kids got me into that. I didn't mention that. I have 3 kids. They're all older. But they got me going in country, and I've really kind of fell in love with it. I'm a huge Luke Bryan fan. And I like going to concerts. So I'm kind of all over the place. I could sit around in my backyard and listen to Frank Sinatra. I can just about listen to anything. Love blues, and I agree on the Motown. That's happening. I love it.
Perfect. Cool. And then we're going to stay with you, Joe, here. What do you feel like the biggest role of mayor is, and what makes you unique or either uniquely qualified or makes you feel like you have the skill set to fill that need?
Yeah, I'd say a couple things. First off, the police department, the mayor is technically the boss of the police department. I think it's one of the most important roles we have in our community. If we don't have public safety, we got nothing. So it is a very, very important role in regards to that. And I would say also just bringing people together. I honestly, I mean no disrespect to any mayor, but I got to live with Chuck Azama, and I got to go through that whole thing. The way he brought people together was amazing, and he got a lot of stuff done. Believe it or not, in its day, Rochester Fest was massive, bigger than Thursdays on First ever dreamed of, and that was a Chuck Azama initiative. And I like what he always said. If you wanted to have a meeting with him, he said, "What do you want to talk about?" And they'd tell him what you want to talk about, and he'd tell them, "Okay, what's your solution?" "Well, that's why I'm coming to see you. Don't come and see me. Go find the solution, then come to me, and then I'll help you do it." So I think it's bringing people together to achieve a lot more. We need some entertainment in this community. Young people don't have enough to do.
Right on. Benjamin, same question. Do you want me to repeat it? No.
Sure, that'd be helpful. Sorry.
What do you feel the biggest role of mayor is? And then what makes you kind of the person that you feel like can fill that role most efficiently or effectively?
Perfect. Thank you. So by the book, by the charter, the biggest role would be chief magistrate and signatory on all city documents. I think that's crucial. Without that, nothing functions. So that's where that veto power comes in. My goal would be to never rule by 11th hour veto. I think having successful cooperative relationships throughout the city organization will really help prevent that. But that signatory and chief magistrate piece is crucial. So that does involve the police department and having public safety being a number one priority, as well as a functioning department that has the city's trust. Chief Franklin has mentioned this issue with broken officers. That would be a day one thing to address, would be to sit down and find out, why do we have broken officers? What is going on here? How can we heal that? How can we have trust between the officers and the community? It has to be a two-way street. I would want to improve community policing from there, and that comes from my perspective in the neighborhood. Having so many issues for years that were just crucial. I mean, people were suffering. We had overdoses, near murders happening on the street. And I could not, as a neighborhood leader, access my police department in a meaningful way. I felt brushed aside. That would be another day one change. We would need to know, how can our police department function with these local leaders in a way that they're validated and heard. Beyond that, the soft power, definitely. I think the appointing to the boards and commissions is crucial. As chair of a commission, I have some expertise in this area. Right now, our boards and commissions have a morale problem. And it needs to be addressed. People are being appointed to these positions being told you don't need experience, but these are very high-functioning technical roles. And then when they get in there without that support, we have a high attrition rate. People just, 6 months in, this is too much, this isn't what I thought, and they're out the door. So I would want to make sure that my appointments are putting people in there who are qualified and ready for that.
Perfect. Since both of you mentioned the police department, I'm just going to skip to a different question here. Outside of just crime statistics, what do you think makes a safe city?
Yeah, safe. Right. And so if we're going outside of crime statistics and just traditional thinking as far as law enforcement, I think safety really comes from the feeling that the citizens have. If you feel safe and confident in your community, if you feel safe to express yourself, to be yourself, to raise your family, that is a safe city. And that's not something that really has tangible, measurable points that we can check on, I think, in that broad term outside of traditional law enforcement. If we're thinking in that scope, there are tangible measurables. But when we're thinking aside from that, it really is, how do the people feel? Do they feel like, this is my home, this is my place, this is where my kids, my grandkids are free to be themselves. They're free to think, they're free to dream, they're free to take some risks and call this place home. That, to me, would be a safe community.
Right on. Joe, same question.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in, I've done a lot of research on this in a lot of cities. It's called smart policing. And really, through the statistics, AI, and all the other drivers, you can kind of start pinpointing where the real difficult problems were. And I still hear from neighbors that said, we know they're dealing drugs over there. We got to put more effort into that and stopping something like that. I think the other thing about it too is I think petty crime. I've heard a lot about this along the way. When I say petty crime, I don't even know if I should label it petty. Your credit card gets stolen. They're all over town. They're on a lot of cameras in businesses, because if you go into a business now, you're probably on a camera, and they know who they are. And I hate to say it, but a lot of them, they might not pursue. That needs to stop. You have to send a message that any crime is a crime. Furthermore, it grows from there. So a lot of them start in small town. They might steal your checkbook and stuff like that. We've had it happen in our business at a bigger level, and of course, that's really then they get involved because it's at a bigger level. But anybody who's lost, a credit card or has had a wallet stolen or broke into their house, whatever it might be. Now, if they break into the house, it's been investigated, and there's somebody working on it. But all these types of crimes, we have to really crack down on. I'm not saying we have a cop at every door. That's not what I'm saying. But I'd really like to see us follow through and cut down on that as much as possible. You got to send a message. The message is we are a safe community, and you need the residents to feel that way too.
Perfect. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna bounce back out of that portion of it and just kind of hit a couple of fun or Rochester things that make you proud in Rochester type of questions. If you have family, friends, relatives coming to visit, what is it that you like to do, and what are you going to show them that you're like, hey, this is what makes Rochester cool or fun or whatever?
I'm up first.
Yeah.
First off, I think we have really, really dynamic parks. So I would definitely make that a part of it. And then onto the slash on the park thing, I always take, and everybody always laughs about this, but when I was young, we used to camp at Whitewater every year. And that was a big deal for us. We didn't have any money. So that was like really, really going out. And I always take people to Whitewater because of the beauty itself. The other thing, too, is I think, again, I told you I'm a Mayo historian. So I would probably take them around and show them things like Assisi Heights, Mayowood Mansion, Stone Barn, and then probably even drift into the downtown. I mean, literally, I've never seen a hospital like the Gonda building. It's like a 5-star hotel, and you're going to get your blood work done or something like that. So it is really something to show people. But I like the Mayo history part because that's what built Rochester and continues to build it. So those are just some of the things that I would show them and share with them along the way.
Yeah. Those are some great parts of town. Benjamin?
Yeah. So realistically, when my family or friends come to visit, it's usually so brief that we don't get far from my home. So I like to show them my neighborhood. I like to show them what's going on really close to me. So places like this, definitely if I had more time, it seems to never do as we're all older and busier, but if I had more time, I would love to take them on all of the trails. There's so much to see. I really like being outside in nature, and so I would take them all through Rochester, all the way down to Bear Creek, we'd ride the Dougie, the Douglas Trail, and then come back and have a beer at the Shoe, or if it's in the morning, go grab a cup of coffee. There's so many great coffee shops. I love Aki for being able to just sit in that greenhouse. It's so fun. Yeah. So that would be definitely one that I would consider as well.
Yeah. You guys are... This thing has not gone off once, so... I might just stop doing it. You wouldn't know. All right. We're going to probably jump into a little small business conversation here. And it'll be brief, so I would probably... Just 2 questions on it. I guess the first question is going to be, what do you think the most... Oh, what did I write here? The most beneficial offering Rochester has for small businesses, for starting them, maintaining them, growing them?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Rochester's a really challenging place for small businesses. I spent this week hearing from restaurants downtown that are honestly kind of on the verge of wondering if this is it. They're terrified. Right now, I think we need to do a lot better for small businesses, so that can be a huge weak point. However, there's a lot of opportunity there. If you are not only an entrepreneur and a small business person that has a dream, but you're willing to fight for that dream and willing to make it happen, this is a place that has so much opportunity because it's not easy easy to make it, to just start a business and have it succeed 5 or 10 years on. You have to be able to see that vision through. If you are persistent, if you are able to stick with it and really not give up day after day to weather those tough seasons, you can really build something truly amazing that nobody else is going to do, because it is hard in Rochester. So I think that difficulty isn't just a downside, it's also an upside for the right personality. And I'm that kind of personality. I think there are enough of us here that are willing to really push through and make some dreams happen.
Right on. Joe, same thing. Most beneficial thing for small business here in Rochester.
Well, I mean, the fact that the community continues to grow. I mean, keep in mind, when I was young, we were maybe 50,000 people. We're about, I'll say, 130,000. But I think even more importantly, we have millions of people that come here every year, which really, really impacts the economy. So the opportunity here, trust me, there is not a lot of cities growing. Now, you're going to drive a little ways to find a city that grows besides Rochester. Rochester is the heartbeat of this state by far. And if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the only cities that's growing at a rapid rate. Which brings challenges. And Benjamin's talked about some of those, and I totally agree with him. But the opportunities are there. My biggest problem I have with the whole thing, it's almost virtually impossible unless you have money to get into business. And that part I don't like, because that doesn't create entrepreneurs.
I would agree. I guess we both kind of touched on this already, but I'm still going to ask it. What do you think the most detrimental thing about Rochester is for small business?
Well, I've been pretty vocal about this, and I've experienced it. We're an average down at the honker 20% because of road construction. I mean, you look at some of these areas and what they've done to these businesses, it's ridiculous. So I would advocate, and again, you got to learn from things, okay? We made a lot of mistakes during COVID. We just got to learn from it, and we're learning right now. Unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of businesses affected by this. Where was the mitigation plan for small businesses? That's what I want to ask, because something should have been done, all right? For instance, we pay for our liquor license every year $6,000, all right? You couldn't do anything to reduce that if you were in a zone. You got to prove that your sales are down. I have no problem with that. I've talked to legislators about cutting our property taxes. And they said, well, it ain't a bad idea. I said, all we got to do is show you our P&Ls, how much we're down, take that percentage off our property taxes. If you're going to rip up all the roads and they can't get to you, which is part of paying property taxes, then it kind of makes it difficult. So I would really, listen, we've never had a $5 billion project. Remember, if you had to build US Bank Stadium today, you'd build it for $2 billion, okay? We have $5 billion in this. We're building 2.5 US Bank stadiums here right now. So it's a great thing, but you got to survive. And it's done 2030, all right? That's a long ways down the road. I have had discussions with people at Mayo, and I said it should have been done in series. And I have actually had some of them agree. But we don't need to do every construction project we have going on in this town. Totally disagree with shutting down the Center Street ramp right now. That should have been bypassed for a while. These owners have been through enough. Benjamin hit on it. The downtown, if you can go there, you guys, go there. Go there as often as you can. They need help.
Big time agree with that. Benjamin, same question.
Yeah, just for the wording, can you restate it?
Yep. What do you feel like the most detrimental thing about Rochester is for small business?
Yeah, so very similar theme. Right now, it is the pressures of rapid urban development. We are developing so rapidly that it's very hard to plan for that. And especially if you're a business that is starting on the ground level, you think you found this great commercial space that's affordable. You start having a plan, you start building your business only to find out 6 months later that right next to you, they're tearing down the block. or that the block across from you is just upzoned, and 2 years from now that one will be torn down, or that the roads are being ripped up for massive infrastructure upgrades, which have to be paid for somehow, and that usually gets reflected in your either special assessments or your property taxes. One way it comes back to you. It's very hard. It's challenging right now to plan around those rapid urban development pressures that are hitting small businesses. So even very well oiled machines that are running downtown, experienced restaurateurs, people who have been in this their entire life. Right now, they're ready to call it quits on Rochester. That's how bad it is. We already have about 400,000 square feet of empty commercial space downtown, and we can't fill it. That is a problem, and it's because we're building so much, and a lot of it isn't really needed at that price point. We need more affordable commercial space, more affordable homes. Same thing with the housing side. If you're starting a business and all your money is tied up in that, you don't have a lot left over for your housing probably. So it's a tight situation for a lot of entry-level entrepreneurs, and it is not yielding, and the pressures only continue.
Perfect. Those were kind of my two big small business questions. Do either one of you have anything else you want to talk about on small business before we move on to something else? Do you want another minute or two each, or should we keep on going?
The only thing I would add to it also is we need to lighten the load on small businesses on the codes. And I'm not saying, you don't need a fire extinguisher and a space that's large, doesn't need sprinklers or anything like that. But I'm talking about what are these small caveats we can do to help these people identify that. You got I don't know how many departments come in and see your business when you open it. You guys know, you went through it. And a little less of that would go a long ways. Again, I'm not saying do something that's not safe, but there are a lot of these codes and a lot of these things that we all have to go through that you don't have to. We're established. Don't worry about me. Send me through it. But somebody who wants to start a business, work with them to succeed. That's a healthy community. You don't have small businesses in a community, you got nothing. I mean, literally. And we have a massive employer, but it doesn't mean if you don't have anything for those employees and visitors to do, you got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just, I guess, kind of continue my thoughts. We have a very concentrated economic model here in Rochester where it's all in on this $5 billion project, right? It's all in on Mayo. That, again, the pressures created on small businesses are tremendous. We need to, I think, just be real about the situation and admit that it is not working. It is working great for Mayo, and they bring a lot to the community. But for your regular entrepreneur right now, it is not working. This is not the place of opportunity to start small businesses. What I want to do is attract and retain brilliant people, creative people who have ideas, are willing to work for it, are willing to fight for it, but we have to be honest about the conditions that they're facing. Not just them, but the conditions their employees are facing. If your employees can't find affordable housing, your business is going to struggle because you're going to have high attrition there as well. So all around, I think we need to be very honest about what our small business community is facing, and the outlook right now is bleak. I commend every entrepreneur that has a vision here in Rochester and is working towards it. As mayor, I would be in your corner 100%. We have to do more, or we're going to lose the character and the feel that small businesses bring to a community.
Perfect. We're going to move on from there then. Thank you guys both for that. That's very insightful. On the city developing, just kind of two questions. It's going to be in two parts, but the first one's going to be of the development projects that are going on currently, is there something that you see that you're like, man, that's just great. I think it's going to really help our city, and you'd like to accelerate that, or you're fully behind it? And then the next question is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be something that you think maybe needs to be slowed down or rethunk.
Are these two in one?
So
they're separate.
So you get 2 minutes. Joe will
Okay.
have 2 minutes, and then
Great.
yeah.
So the first one was, which one will we pump the brakes on, right?
No, which one do you love?
Which one do I
you,
love?
What do you like happening?
Okay. And I'm starting? Is that
Sure,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So what I love and is not happening enough, I think actually is our housing rehabilitation programs. So that's not really a specific development, but I think with the federal housing bill that was passed, we should be capturing those dollars as much as possible, working with state and federal partners to bring those into our housing rehabilitation program. We have in door knocking, in going to thousands of doors. Personally, myself, you've probably seen me on your Ring camera. I've had hundreds of conversations. Our traditional housing stock is not good, especially in the urban core. So we need to help people stay in their homes. These are affordable homes, and oftentimes they are the most affordable homes. So here in Lower Town, East Side, you get out in Washington, some of these homes, if you sell it, often it's going to be to an investor or developer slightly below market rate because of the pressures of development. So you're not going to have enough money to go buy a better house. You're not moving up. You can either buy a similarly priced home that's also in the path of development, or you're priced out of the market entirely. So the more that we can help these homeowners stay in their home with dignity, repair the home, and have some, I think, robust housing stock throughout the community, that is crucial. I would love to see that continue. We have small programs, and they're great, and I guess that's why it's not a specific development, but those little tiny housing rehabilitation programs need to become large housing rehabilitation programs.
Awesome. Joe?
Yeah, I agree on that totally. I mean, I think we can do more right down in the core of the city. And I've talked to quite a few seniors too. They're really, really nervous about getting property taxed out of their homes. Most of these people don't have mortgages. They've been living there for 30, 40, 50 years. So that's something that needs to be looked at. I like the development of what we did at Cascade Park. I mean, these were basically two pits created in building Rochester, and it was really made into something really cool, and it's quite beautiful. So I think they've done a really good job in that particular area. I really like the fact that we have continued in our community, I'm in the hospitality business, on having local entrepreneurs, local people starting their own places, whether it be bars, whether it be restaurants, but it's mostly dominated by local people. And I lived in the day and age when the franchise dominated, and the franchise is on its way out. And people want to go to places like this, and they want to go to different coffee shops that are local people. And I feel the same way about the restaurant business. There's been tremendous growth in that area. And of course, the second biggest business in the city and most jobs is the hospitality industry. So it is a very, very important part of our community. And I've loved to see the growth there. But again, they definitely have some challenges downtown, without a doubt.
Yeah. All right. And then the opposite of that, is there something that the city is doing, or a development project that you're like, man, this is just not going the way that it was promised or planned, or needs to be rethunk or scrapped?
Yeah, I've kind of already talked about it, the construction. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the BRT is very important, and I'm a fan, okay, because something needed to be done. I was so sick of these buses going up and down 2nd Street. It was like beyond. You sit outside the honker, and all you get is a mouthful of diesel all day. So I'm in favor of that project. I don't know about all the timing of the construction. I think that was probably one of the biggest detrimental things through this entire thing. You got to live and learn from it. But man, I'd like to know the conversations going on inside cars. Can you imagine it? If you could record these things, what the hell? I mean, it'd be like left and right, like they go down a block, can't go, turn around, go down another block, can't go. Hey, we live here. So after a while, we kind of get it down. Just imagine coming here. Mayo still does a tremendous amount of people that drive for their appointments come here. Illinois, Iowa, the Dakotas, Wisconsin. Most of those people do, and there's been ones come farther than that. But there's definitely some challenges in regards to where we're at with the construction. And, honestly, I think we're in the heart of it because it's summertime. So it's when you got to get it done.
Road construction season.
Yeah.
Classic Minnesota. Benjamin, same question.
So this one's no mystery. The sports complex, that is not what we were promised. It's not what people voted for. pump the brakes. Just stop. I would say moratorium is an adequate word here. Just stop and figure out what we're doing, get it right. Don't keep pushing forward. I feel like the efforts to just ram something through right now are only going to devolve and upset people more. The community is generally already upset at how this has gone. This is one that the city needs to rebuild trust on. Too much trust has been lost, and this is not the time to risk any more trust being lost as a city. We need to pump the brakes on that immediately. Get it right. Don't bring anything else forward until this is an ironclad plan that the voters feel like this is what they voted for.
Perfect. All right, we're out of those. We got a few minutes left. Do we want a couple more questions on... What do I have here? We could either do a quick one on housing. We could do something fun again, or we could just kind of end up with some closing remarks.
Let's do something fun.
Let's do something fun. All right, cool.
I was ready to go on housing, but we can do fun ones.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have here that I like? I guess maybe let's go with just personally something you do. Travel. When you're out traveling, are you going to a beach? Are you hanging out? Do you guys hike? Like, what do you like to do? Who are you? Who's vacation Joe? Who's vacation Benjamin?
Go ahead.
It has been a while since I have been vacation Benjamin. You know, and it's probably changed. So I guess reflecting back, when I was a younger adult, I just wanted to get out and see all the cities. I loved skyscrapers. I loved architecture. I grew up outside the Milwaukee area, so going into the city was always so fun. There's so many old buildings that are just amazing. And then when we got to take a trip to Chicago, that was like even better. The architectural capital of America, and some people say even the world. So I still love getting out to different cities and just looking at the architecture, experiencing the different neighborhoods, the different vibes. You can go, just a quarter mile down the road and have something totally different. So I love doing that. As I've gotten older and had kids, it was my dream to get them out to the redwoods. We did that twice. I've really been all over the continent. I've traveled internationally. I just love getting to see new things, especially cities, and then, depending on the mood, nature.
That guy threw up. He didn't like that.
Oh, no.
I thought it was a fine answer. Joe, same thing.
I like to travel. I'm a traveler. I recently just got back from Alaska, actually. Never been there. Heard plenty about it. If you haven't done it, go do it. And I actually did it on a cruise. Not a big cruiser, but I gave it a whirl. A girlfriend talked me into it, and it was a lot of fun, and the beauty was just off the charts. She'd tell me, like, hey, tomorrow morning you got to get up at 4:30. I'd be like, what? And by the way, it's light out there. It's light out there like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I do like to travel. I enjoy that. I like playing golf, and I have a cabin in Wisconsin. So I like going up there, sitting in a boat. But that's kind of, after you've been working 60, 70 hours a week your whole life, you have to learn how to relax, and it's tough. But I do enjoy getting away.
Yeah, northern Wisconsin's beautiful. Can't beat that. Cool. I think questions-wise, that's probably enough. I'm probably just going to give you guys both 5 minutes on what you might want to have for some closing remarks. Totally up to you on how you want to use that time. And then we'll just hang out. You can talk to the immense crowd that showed up here today. It's out of hand. Yeah. Whoever would like to start. Joe, we'll start with you.
Okay. So I've really enjoyed this today. Thank you for coming out, all of you, too. I appreciate it. And I hate to say it's the first time I've been here. That's pretty bad, ain't it? So I told them that when I came in. But I actually knew the people that owned this before, really close, grew up with them. So I know all the little names on the floor down here. No, this is, this campaign, I've never done that. And ironically, I've never been on social media before. It's that's probably been one of the more difficult parts for me is the social media because people got a lot of guts when they sit behind a keyboard. Probably the biggest thing about the social media I'll say is the majority of the people that talk about me and the way they talk about me, they've never met me, nor do they know me. So I always remind people I'm the same person as I was before, and I will be in the role of mayor. I mean, it'll be the same situation. I've had thousands and thousands of people work for me, and my number one goal is when they're working for me, they want to work for me, and they enjoy their work there. Now, it doesn't always work out, and not everybody's meant to be in the restaurant business or a catering business. I love the city. I've got to see a lot of leadership over the years. I think we have a good council right now. I do think that they're getting things done, and it's manageable. And I'll just say I think it's a little better than it used to be. But no, I think I've learned a lot through the campaigning. I told everybody, they go, well, what's your platform? It isn't my platform. It's the community's platform. You learn from going door to door. You learn from meeting people. I've done a lot of senior homes, going to talk to them. That's a whole different perspective because they're living within a community itself than actually going out, knocking on a door and meeting a senior and asking them questions like, why do you like Rochester? What are your challenges living here? And we've addressed a lot of those today along the way, and we need to do more in that area. We're an aging population, so we got to keep that in mind. What are we doing for the seniors within our community itself? But the only other thing I didn't really hit on and I want to talk about today is either we start creating some entertainment within this community or we're going to have a difficult time recruiting people to live here. We have to do more all the way around. I am not happy about the Hawkers and their situation on where it is. It shouldn't have came to that. That field should have been worked on years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. I don't know if you've been to the bathrooms there. Wow. I doubt their code. But it's just, we have to have entertainment. I went to the Hawkers game. I think I paid $10 to get in. I did have a beer. That was $6. And we had some popcorn in our group. And I want to say that was $6. If I go to Target Field, you can multiply that by 10 after what I just said, what I ordered. So we need things like this that are affordable for people to go do. What's really, really moving is the amount of kids with special needs at that game, and they go to every game we're there. And all I can think of is this is going to end. And it's a sad situation. I love Mayo Field. I think it's awesome stadium. I mean, it's just deplorable. So we had 850 there that night. And the average attendance, Madison, way bigger town, I get it. They average 6,000 a night. So the facilities will make a difference. I think we could probably average 2,000 or 3,000 a game if we had a better facility. So I'll end on that. I'd love your vote. And whatever you do, get out and vote August 11th. It's amazing how many people don't vote in the primary. It's less than 25% of the registered voters vote in primaries. I went and early voted. Any of you, especially you young folks in here, take your license, go out to the, right now you can go to the county building, City Hall will be opening too, 21, 22 building. And honest God, it took me 2 minutes. I went in, I went out. No wait, no nothing. It was simple and it was easy, but get people out to vote. Thank you.
Perfect. Who'd you vote for? No, I'm kidding.
Well, funny story on that. Funny story on that. You have to flip the page on the back.
Yeah.
And it's the only mayor. That's the only thing on the back page.
Is it?
And the gal working there said, "Hey, make sure you flip the page."
Oh,
I said,
man.
"What's that for?" She goes, "Because you're on there."
I like it. Benjamin, same thing. 5 minutes, just kind of wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here. I have, I think, a bold vision for Rochester in that it really gets back to the people. We have a very concentrated economic model right now, and it is not working. The development pressures are too much for small businesses. And I too want to see entertainment and new ideas coming out of Rochester that aren't just in the medical field. In order to do that, though, we have to broaden our thinking. We have to realize that pushing forward all in on just the medical industry is not a great way to retain people who have other ideas. And I will say, Joe, to your credit, I have talked to people who know you. I've actually knocked on a door, and one guy said, yeah, I know one of your main competitors, Joe. He said, he's a great guy. He goes to your gym. He's like, I love him. He's really good at big, huge ideas and big business. And he's like, he's so fun at the gym. And he's like, but you, and he knew me. And he goes, I like you. You're really good at small business, and you're excellent at neighborhoods and understanding people. And I think that's kind of the difference in visions here we have. One vision we're facing for Rochester will be great for the top. We will continue to have big, bold ideas for a few. Another vision is having lots of brilliant ideas spread throughout the community. And that's kind of the small business neighborhood vision that I have. That's what I want to see continue to thrive. You know, if 4 years from now, I'm sitting in a community that people are looking at me saying, I had this dream and I was able to make it work. My neighborhood was struggling and we've turned it around. I have people from other communities wanting to visit here, wanting to move here, wanting to live here. And it's not just for a position at Mayo. That will be success. That's the vision that I want to bring. I think we can do better. I think we can dream bigger, and it's not just in a single vision that we have been in. I think the vision for the future is very different from the vision of the past. I think we're ready for newer ideas that newer generations are ready to step up and bring, and I'm ready to be that leader. Along with that, some practical things that I want to address. These development pressures are causing displacement. It's development with displacement. And this neighborhood and the urban core is a perfect example of that. As development moves in, it starts with the infrastructure. To pay for that, we upzone. And when we upzone, that signals to developers to start collecting properties, and that city enforcement on building safety is probably not going to happen. From there, as homes and blocks get acquired, they get raised. It's much harder as a homeowner or a small business to invest in your building if you're watching everything around you get torn down. And it kind of starts to accelerate itself. We have to pump the brakes on that as well, and again, reinvest in our urban core, or we're going to lose all the people who can have those new ideas. We're going to go so all in on a one concentrated economic model, we're going to lose those valuable insights and the things that make our community vibrant and exciting to be in. So I would encourage you all to please consider what's at stake, the two visions of Rochester as we move forward in this election. I'm ready to be a bold leader. I have an understanding of the city from being a commissioner. I know how to get things done at City Hall. I know how to get things done on the neighborhood level, and I'm ready to go to work for you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys both so much, and thank you everybody that came out to the SHU. August 11th, primary. Go vote. There's 8 candidates. You can check out most everybody's vision from the SHU's YouTube page. There's, a lot of really good thoughts on Rochester and a lot of really good people running this race. So I'd encourage you to get out and vote. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Basketball out back in a few minutes.
They want us all to do. You may even think this is nothing new. I think you can care about